evening. Good evening, and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle since 2011, not 2024. I'm Stacy. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd whenever he shows up. Tonight we have a full show for you. The Shah's family's 54-year rule in Syria falls. NFL Week 14. The Democrats are divided over Biden's talk of preemptive pardons. College football Week 15. Vance, Vice President-elect, and GOP committees ask the Supreme Court to strike down coordination limits. What Juan Soto's $700 million deal means for the Mets, Yankees, and the rest of Major League Baseball. The United States adds 227 jobs in November. Is a rebound from October slump and more if we can fit it in. First up, Stephen and Aguna with the NFL. I'm going to let you guys fight that one out. But, I'm an Eagles fan all day.
Hey, I think we should let Keith go first since he's our newest fan. Keith, how about them Rams do?
Well, you know what? Now that I'm getting back into football, I'll have to get to, like Aguna said, I can't name a single player, but I tell you one thing, being in L.A., L.A. native, I'm really glad the Rams pulled it off. So
right
there you go. That's about all I can say, Aguna.
Against the big bad Buffalo Bills. That's a great win.
I know. You think
that's when they've had all year.
Might make it again. Those guys.
I give you an A for effort, Keith. At least you're starting to turn in that direction. But I do say it's a great win for the Rams. I think they SoFi Stadium is a very nice facility, and a lot of times visiting teams have just as many fans there as the host team, the LA Rams. But I mean, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cuff, Puka, all those different receivers.
Just call him Pukachu.
Pukachu or whatever. They lit them up, man. The Bills defense really let them down. Josh Allen actually played a good game. He had a lot of fantasy points for those who started him. But yeah, the Rams pulled it off. They kept themselves in the playoff hunt. They're still fighting for that last wild card spot, but it also raises some question marks with the Buffalo Bills, who people thought were going to challenge Kansas City for the number one seed and potentially the AFC title and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. So, Keith, if you do decide to get back into football legitimately, you got a great team in the Rams. You also got a great team in the Chargers. Unfortunately, Chargers didn't beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but both LA teams, unlike the New York teams, are doing fairly well because they're both fairly positioned to make a playoff run. So,
because you can have two teams.
Yeah, you can have two teams, Keith, if you knew
Same
that. The Chargers are in LA too, just FYI. Right? And
Keith, I'll come out there and watch a game with you sometime, man.
Stephen, I heard the Commanders lost and they were on a bye week. So
what I did was I bet somebody $500 that they wouldn't lose this week, and they bet me, and then I told them that they didn't have a game, and I got $500. Bet's a bet.
That's
they didn't like that at all. But we have the Saints this week, which is going to be real tough. I know it doesn't seem like it is with Taysom Hill's out, and he's the heart and soul of the whole team. But they still have
Carr's out. Is it Hill or Carr?
I think Carr and Hill.
They're both out. That's right. Rattler or somebody's going to be the quarterback.
I don't know who they're going to. Maybe Kamara. I remember he did it one game or a few plays because they didn't have nobody else one year, I think, if I didn't conflate him with somebody else. But
despite Carr being out, the Saints actually pulled it off against the Giants because the Giants sucked so much. They missed a winnable tiable field goal or whatever. So, yeah, I'm glad that the Giants lost. They may get a number one draft pick out of everything, but
they'll be fine. They lost Saquon, man. How do you give Saquon away? What is he, number one in the NFL right now?
He's
crazy.
tracking on the title. He just broke. So with the Eagles, Saquon is the bright spot because he broke Shady McCoy's single season franchise rushing title. He got over 106 yards this past weekend, so he was able to do that. Now, unfortunately, we still have a Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown problem, which I think is overblown because AJ Brown, again, is a great receiver. He wants the ball. But when you have an offense like the Eagles offense and you only throw for 108 yards passing against one of the worst pass defenses in the league with the Carolina Panthers, that's a problem. And I don't know, I probably was the only one that watched the game. And it was horrible. Jalen Hurts was horrible. Okay. And I cheer for him. He's the Eagles quarterback. But if you watched him over the last couple seasons, again, I get it. He makes plays with his legs. He comes through in the clutch most of the time. But this past game, only beating the Carolina Panthers by 8 points or whatever, almost losing to the Panthers, not because of the play calling, not because of the running game, not because of the receivers, but because of Jalen Hurts and his decision-making. He took a bad sack for no reason, took him out of field goal range. He took, he was holding on to the ball too long. A.J. Brown was noticeably frustrated because when you have A.J. Brown and Smith, two of the best receivers in the league, and you only throw for 100 yards passing in the game, something's going on.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, Heisman Trophy winner. What are you doing, right? So he did throw it to the tight end. He got a touchdown pass. He got 2 rushing touchdowns. So everybody's like, we're what, 10-2, 11-2 now. So it's like, hey, it's all
gravy.
Well, he did throw it
he
to
is
Smitty.
A liability. He's a liability.
He's saving his arm for when he needs it.
He did throw it to Smitty, and Smitty made a touchdown, the Heisman Trophy winner. But my thing is this. He's got $200 million. He don't care what you say, Aguna.
Woo!
He's got generational wealth.
That's why his receiver. So they asked A.J. Brown after the game what needs to be improved about the offense. And A.J. Brown said the passing. And so everybody, of course, people reacted. It's like the T.O. moment.
Didn't I talk about that last week?
No, it just happened. It just happened this past game.
I talked about how last week I talked about how the Eagles play a passing game and the other team's defenses have already come up with solutions to stop the passing game for the Eagles. They need to focus on the running game and their running backs because they have to.
It's not the other team.
It takes the offense. It takes the coaches and the offensive coordinators forever to get this team going. It's like they have to.
It's not the coaching. It's not the other team's defense. It is Jalen Hurts.
Can I finish my point? Do I look like
no?
They have to warm up for the first 2 quarters, and then finally by halftime, they're playing like they should be playing and running the ball. I said this last week.
To do with the coaching. It has nothing to do with the
coaching.
scheme. No, it's not.
Everything to do with the coaching.
When you have receivers, if you go back and watch the film and you see A.J. Brown is always open, okay? A.J. Brown's always open. Nobody can cover. Even when they double him, he can't be covered. So Jalen has to be confident enough to throw the ball to him. Every time in the red zone, on the slot, they line him up in the slot, they put him in motion, line up on the slot. He does a slant right to the inside. He is perfectly in perfect positions, but Jalen Hurts does a 4-step drop when he needs to do a 2-step drop and doesn't throw the ball to him. And that's why A.J. Brown's frustrated. He's like, just get me the ball. That's all you got to do is be confident.
A.J. Brown is frustrated. A.J. Brown has been frustrated every game of this season. He's a ball ham. That's all he ever wants is the ball thrown to him. So it doesn't matter whether Jalen sees him or not. If he doesn't get the ball every time it's thrown, A.J. Brown is going to have a problem.
But Stacey, Aguna has A.J. Brown. Stacey, he has A.J. Brown in his fantasy team. That's why he wants to get the ball every time.
No, actually, I don't. Actually, I do not. I do not. But I know people who do. And of course, they want the targets. But at the end of the day, A.J. Brown had over 1,000 yards receiving last year. Smitty has over 1,000 yards receiving last year. Jalen threw them the ball last year. What changed was Jalen's confidence because he turned the ball over significantly going down the stretch last year. We had that epic collapse. You saw it early on in this season where he turned the ball over in the red zone. You look at that first game against Atlanta, he threw some horrible picks. And so after the bye week, he's been more conservative getting the ball out. So to his detriment, because again, they beat the Ravens with 118 yards passing. They beat the Panthers, who are sorry, with 108 yards passing. What has changed? The person who handles the ball every snap, Jalen Hurts, his confidence is not there anymore. Like, you can tell. You can tell. And the fans know it too. Everybody knows it. And it's rubbing off in the locker room. Okay, and it's like, hey, you know what?
Why is this confidence not there anymore, Aguna?
Because he doesn't want to turn the ball over. He doesn't want to make mistakes. And the problem is, at the end of the day, he has the most high-powered offense in the league. You got Saquon as the running back, okay? You got two great receivers. You got the best offensive line in the football. Now, his tight end is nicked up, but he also, he got serviceable tight ends. So, at the end of the day, this offense should be averaging at least 30 points a game. Easy. 30 points a game, easy.
Okay, that's not happening. I already told you why it's not happening.
It's not because it's the running game and Jalen got to know how to read a defense and get the ball out. Period. You can't blame Kevin. Now you can say Kevin Moore needs to cater the offense to him.
Todd knows how to read a defense.
Todd doesn't know how to read. Look. Todd needs to read what stylist he needs to get. Because I don't know what kind of outfit he got on today.
Oh, that's kind of sharp, man. It is sharp.
You like that?
Well, yeah.
Why is that? Is that a pole?
It's like a throwback to the
wrong direction.
Like the 1940s Indian dictator or something.
We missed
something along those lines. Something really old style. It's really old school. Looks good, Todd.
Kind of Russian.
Yeah, way back, but from way back. Russian, Indian. Man, you're a Bolshevik, man. You're full of Bolsheviks.
So that's where BS comes from.
I digress. The Eagles have the Steelers this weekend, and it's going to be, I don't know. We've never beaten Russell Wilson. We got the Steelers at home at 4 o'clock.
Now, Russell Wilson isn't starting, is he?
Yeah.
Yes. Of course he is.
Yeah.
He's been balling. He's been balling. And they, and I think they may lock up a playoff berth if they win against the Eagles. But they're trying to
better win because the Washington Redskins are going to catch you.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Wait. Listen to this. They're the AFC anyway. Todd, what's the difference between the AFC and the NFC?
Why'd she say Serena? Go ahead, Todd.
Whoops. Boy, he's gone.
Todd is turned into after the election. Todd has turned into a troll.
He has to look it up, I guess.
Steven, you were talking about your Washington Commanders.
It's the Washington Redskins for life. It will always be the Washington Redskins. I don't care. They could put all their words in my mouth. That don't mean they need to come out of my mouth. And there's words I don't say, and one of them starts with a C, and I call that the C word. The Redskins is a respectable name, and it's going to come back, and the world's going to be a better place, and everything is going to come back to normal, and all these crazy people are going to just go away. But Washington Redskins have a tough game. Even though New Orleans is hurt right now, they're at home, and I hate having to play there. It's just something about it. They come out there and they do like voodoo dances and stuff with chickens, and I don't know exactly what it is, chicken bones, but they do things. Yeah, and it's crazy. So I'm always worried. So we need the win bad. This is a game that Washington should win. We should take it. There should be no problem. We should win this game. But this is a game that we could actually lose. When could build momentum to get towards the playoffs and in the playoffs and hopefully make a difference. So we'll see what happens. I'm very leery about this game, but I'm taking the Eagles to lose.
I think the Commanders, their hope and dreams are over with. I think.
Oh no, we're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna make the playoffs.
Long gone.
I don't know. I don't know. I think they want an LA team or the 49ers in there. I think that last playoff spot. Again, the
49ers are not doing as well as the Redskins, man. 49ers ain't won but like 5 games.
don't look. Hey, so you got 2 California teams. They got big fan bases. You know, they're getting healthy. The 49ers are getting healthy. I mean, I think McCaffrey is done, but I think Nick Bosa's coming back. Kittle has gotten healthy, so they may want those jokers in the playoffs. I don't
No,
like
we
them.
have a brand new quarterback that's just so fresh and bringing his team around. It's a great story for the whole NFL. They wouldn't mind.
Is like Jalen Hurts 2.0.
But we've won 8 games. We don't have to win that many more games. There's 17 games in the year. We're going to make the playoffs.
I mean,
you don't think with 2 more wins? You don't think with 2 more wins we're going to make the playoffs? 10? We're going to have 10 wins. Let's go 11 wins. 3 more wins. We should have 3 wins.
I think you do have at least one win. I know you got 1 win left. 9 may be enough to get you in there, but 2, 3, that may be. I mean, you got to play Dallas again, right?
What is Dallas?
I know they may have a chip on their shoulder. You know, you saw Michael Parsons crying last night, so he may try to take it out on you guys. Be spoiler.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we're gonna get back at him. We're gonna be all right. Maybe we'll get an extra piece. Maybe we'll be a little more fresh. Maybe the quarterback will be a little more healthy. We'll see. We'll take it as it comes. I don't think Dallas can sweep us.
And maybe Todd will start speaking Russian with that hat he's got on. All right, let's go on to college football. Aguna or Steven with college football this week was kind of boring. There wasn't as many games.
You saying this week was boring with the championship games that went on this week with Georgia and with Clemson? That Georgia Texas game was a great game. That was a phenomenal game.
Tell us about it.
It went to overtime, right? And you saw Georgia pulled it off in overtime, and it was a back and forth matchup. Second time in a row that Georgia went to overtime. They won the SEC title. So Texas is still in the playoffs. Georgia's in the playoffs, but I think Georgia has the first round bye. But it was a great game. And then that Clemson SMU game where you thought it was going to overtime. Clemson gets the ball, late in the fourth quarter, drives down and makes the field goal to win it. Walk-off field goal. I mean, you can't ask anything better than that, right? So the college football playoffs is set up, and, we'll go from there. Unfortunately, South Carolina did not get in there, 3 losses. I think they're going to the CarQuest Bowl or something. They're going to some bowl game down there in Florida. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this the playoffs play out, just because you have, I think Clemson got a bye too. Bottom line of it is, it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs play out with Notre Dame, Ohio State. So you've got some good games set up for the new year. So it's going to be fun.
Well, if you're talking, Stacey, I can't hear you, but you might be talking about me.
I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unlike you guys, I go on mute when I'm not talking.
I do too.
That?
No,
not Steven.
No, you
definitely don't know anything about that.
No, sometimes. I sometimes put myself on mute.
So, I did want to talk a little bit about James Soto and his contract of, I don't know, 200 or 700. How much money did he get? $700 million deal. I think that's the biggest deal in professional sports.
Was it with the Yankees?
That's bigger than what's the guy from Los Angeles that everyone loves?
Oh, the Japanese guy?
Yeah, Ohtani.
Hasaki?
Ohtani. Yeah, well,
Hasaki
it doesn't
Ohtani.
matter. It doesn't matter what his nationality is. I was just talking about who he was.
I was just trying to describe him, if that's the guy you're talking about. I was like, oh, you talking about the Japanese guy or the guy from Jamaica?
He is Japanese. He's not American.
I think he's Japanese.
He is. He's Japanese.
And he got away with betting on baseball.
Yeah.
He has this contract of 15. Let me share my screen. A 15-year deal. That's share incredible. My screen, which is like really, really, really crazy.
I thought the baseball players were the highest paid. That's what I thought.
Yeah, they are.
Why are you asking Aguna instead of asking me?
I don't know if you know that much about baseball. I don't
Oh,
know.
but
It's like
Aguna
15
does.
years. 15 years. That's hilarious.
Okay.
That's very like sexist.
Oh, she takes it that way. Oh boy.
Now it's sexist. Now it's calling out people for their nationality.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at my screen. Juan Soto agrees to a 15-year,
Mets.
$765 million deal with the Mets. The
My
Mets, I
God.
mean, Philadelphia Phillies play the Mets, and the Mets aren't like the Yankees, you know what I mean? Even though the Yankees just got back to the World Series, but the Mets aren't like the Yankees. So I don't even know where the Mets got the money to pay him $765 million, but
In 15 years.
$765 million. Who wants to
Wow.
talk to that?
Well, those tickets
Cousin
are very
Todd?
expensive, you know,
It's
Stacy.
not going to change the ticket price.
There's nothing to talk about. He got $700 million. So what?
Todd is just nonchalant
It's
tonight.
unheard of. It's unreal. This is bringing in a new era of. It's bringing in what? A new era of income for professional sports.
No,
what can one person do with $700 million?
no,
That's more than all the women combined in the WNBA make.
Okay.
He won't get the whole 700 million, but he's got that's multi-generational money, more than multi-generational money. And for him to get that, Mets to give it, I mean, that's one player. And what that does, like it does for other teams and other sports, is when you spend all your money on one player, that sometimes does not win you championships. It sometimes does not fill up your stadiums. And it sometimes does not even guarantee that your team will go to the playoffs.
What happens if he gets hurt? What happens if he gets hurt?
And if he gets hurt, like Ohtani, what is the point of having paid a player $700 million over 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, there are provisions in there for injury, right? So, but I mean, at the end of the day, you get paid, you get for what you paid for, right? So if he's performing at that level, he deserves to get paid that much.
Yeah, it's whatever they'll pay him.
He deserves to be the whole team, because that's more than the whole team makes.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he must be all that. You know, they pay the best performer. Like they pay Prince more than they would pay, I don't know, put somebody beside Prince. I'm just saying, if you're that good and that people respect you that much and they think you have that much value, it's not up to us to judge or question it, because you know what? Somebody else is come by after Tiny, after him, and somebody else can make a whole lot more money. This is just the way the world is right now. And maybe things are so good they can give somebody $1 billion. The next person will get $1 billion. Like 15 years for $1 billion? Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's what he got. That's what Todd said. He got the money. How much? Yeah, he got it.
That's like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift makes a lot more than Beyonce.
That's right. Yeah, she makes I don't know if she makes more than Beyonce, but she makes a lot more than Carrot. She makes a lot more than Carrot Top.
She does.
Yeah.
These are rich.
All right, I'm going to move on.
Why are you going to move on?
Yeah,
why didn't you deal with what this racist just said?
See, now I'm a racist. See that
Aguna? Aguna or
well,
Keith?
Which one? Which of the three of us? Which racist?
Yeah, see, Stephen. Now I'm a racist because I said
it might be me. It might be Aguna. I don't know.
I didn't even hear what he said. I didn't even.
Somebody's a racist.
I said Taylor Swift
out the other. So it's like
comparing.
I was about Todd.
I was commenting on Stephen. You know, when in Aguna, they said if you're worth it, you should get it. I mean, so Taylor Swift, she makes more than I said she gets more than Beyonce now. Beyonce.
Oh, then he was saying that was racist to say that, I guess.
That's what he said, yeah.
Because you compared a white person to a black person.
Well, okay, if you want to
you're
go
just thinking
there,
of somebody to say.
And if you want to go there,
you know who makes more. I didn't know that's what he was saying.
I don't know what he was saying. I'm just speculating based on how he thinks sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to move on. We've had developing breaking news.
He's hoping that Beyonce makes less than the white girl because he's
I was right. I was right. I was just guessing. All right.
Well, if you want to go there.
Let's just move on.
Yeah.
In
Thank you,
revolutionary
Stacey.
chaos,
Oh boy.
its
Look at
neighbor
that.
Israel taking decisive action.
Yes.
Israeli
love
warplanes
it.
carrying out
Decisive
strikes
action.
across the country, leaving this airbase near
Love it.
Damascus in flames, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The target, Israel says, military sites, including the Assad regime's stockpiles of chemical and biological weapons, which it fears could fall into the hands of extremists.
The only interest we have is the security of Israel and its citizens.
Bashar al-Assad, Syria's toppled dictator, used chemical weapons against his own people during 13 bloody years of civil war. President Obama threatened strikes in response.
A red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized.
But didn't follow through. While President Trump mounted 2 waves of attacks during his first term. Israeli forces are also moving in on the ground, first capturing a buffer zone between Syria and the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights, and then edging troops further into Syria itself.
There was never any love lost between Israel and the Assad regime, but for 50 years, this was Israel's quietest border, and the Israeli government is determined to try to keep it that way.
Syrians fear Israel is taking advantage of their weakness to capture territory. Israel annexed the Golan after its military victory against its Arab neighbors in the 1967 war. But Israel today insisting its aim only to prevent chaos in Syria spilling over.
I emphasize it is a very limited and temporary step we took from security reasons.
The state of Israel and rebel-led Syria now uneasy new neighbors.
And Raf Sanchez joins us now from Tel Aviv. Raf, do we have any sense of the rebels' attitude towards the state of Israel?
So, Ellison, the main rebel group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, known as HTS, is a Sunni Islamist group. It has its origins in al-Qaeda. That is not an ideological profile that is friendly to Israel, to say the least. On top of that, you have the leader of that group, who is probably the single most powerful man in Syria right now. His family is originally from the Golan Heights. They were displaced by Israeli forces in 1967. That's why he goes by the pseudonym, the nom de guerre, al-Jolani, which literally means in Arabic, from the Golan. So he has personal animus or reasons for personal animus towards Israel. All of that said, HTS has been very eager to telegraph moderation to the world. They have not been making threats towards Israel. They do seem more interested in domestic governance inside of Syria rather than international jihad outside of it. And there is this irony here that Israel and the rebels share enemies, Iran, Hezbollah, and part of the reason the rebels were successful in overthrowing Assad is that Israel had done so much damage to both Iran and Hezbollah over the last year or so. Allison.
And Raf, when you're speaking with your sources in the region, what do they and other experts think the fall of Assad could mean for the broader conflict in the Middle East?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So big picture, it is clear this is a major blow to Iran. Syria was a key part of Iran's chain that linked them with Hezbollah on the Mediterranean. Their ability to project power throughout the region pretty severely limited now that Syria has been overtaken by the rebels. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel was actually at a press conference earlier today. He was making the argument that this leaves Hamas in Gaza more isolated because that is one more anti-Israel power in the Assad regime that has fallen away. And he is trying to make the case that this might make Hamas more open towards some kind of deal to release the hostages and to end the war. Ellison.
Raf Sanchez in Tel Aviv, thank
you. Yeah. Israel takes decisive action. I love it. That's what you got to do. That's what you
do. They're gonna be a lot more easier to get along with because Trump's coming in.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
Steven.
right. So, Stacey, you're on mute.
Oh, okay. I'm talking. I'm like, you guys are just ignoring me. I said,
we didn't even see your lips moving.
Oh, okay. How in the world did this happen? I don't think most people were expecting the fall of Syria and especially of uh, 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 what's his name? Bashar
Mhm.
al-Assad. Al-Assad.
Mhm.
He's been in power after his father for 15 years. He's a doctor. No one expected him. They expected his brother, the older one, to take over. However, he got killed in a car accident decades ago. So this ophthalmologist, the younger brother, took over and ended up putting chemical weapons on his own people. So for his regime to fall was a shock. It was a shock to me. Was it a shock to
Yeah.
you, Stephen?
Absolutely. Who saw this coming? Nobody had it on their bingo card, Stacy. But it is going to turn out to be a good thing. Right now, the people, everybody's jumbled up. Nobody knows what really is going to happen. Nobody's really in charge. So it's going to see how it's going to shake up. But I really do believe, like with the Abraham Accord and everything like that, I think everybody's going to try to get in shape and try to get cool, because we're going to decimate Iran. We're not going to play with Iran. We're not going to be on Iran's side the way the Democrat Party is. So we're gonna really hurt Iran, and then the other people like Saudi Arabia is gonna be happy. Other countries are gonna be happy, and they're gonna try to work with us. That's what's gonna happen. That's how we're gonna have peace on earth that we don't have now because of the administration we have right
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Has made it
We're running out of time.
chaos in the Middle East.
Stop the
I tell
nonsense.
you,
Stop telling the truth.
Let me tell
Okay,
you.
thank you. Keith, go ahead, Keith.
I'm going to tell you something. I was right all along. Sometime earlier in the year, when we talked about this issue, I said that all the nations, this is according to the Bible, and it's true.
The Bible was right.
All nations will come against Israel at some point. And we can see it escalating. Because think about it. It all started with Hamas in Israel. I mean, since October 7th. Look how it has escalated now. We got Syria, Iran. We got all of these other, these other little minor terrorist regimes that are coming against Israel.
Okay, thank you.
So there you go.
Man, how do you say you don't know anything about a topic without saying it? So Syria is isolated to the Assad. I mean, these rebels that rose up, a lot of these were U.S. backed rebels, because we have almost 1,000 troops stationed in Syria because we were assisting the Kurdish, the Kurdish incursion there. So it is a complex issue. The rebels overthrew the Assad regime, and now you see Israel is creating this buffer zone in Syria. So it's not like the rebels were going against Israel. They were toppling the Assad regime. And the reason why they were able to do that was because Israel had destabilized Hezbollah and, to a certain degree, Iran. Now, this whole idea and notion, we have never been on the side of Iran. We kind of negotiated here with some deals here and there, but make no mistake, and I know Stephen has selective memory, but the only time U.S. troops were ever fired on was under the Trump administration, when Iran fired on the U.S. troop station in Iraq. And that was in retaliation to something Trump did. Now, we didn't retaliate back, right? Trump showed restraint, but that doesn't curb the fact that they were fired upon by Iran. So the notion that, hey, we're just going to go and obliterate Iran and we're going to just do all these different things and bring peace on earth and everything like that. No, you're seeing a global shift in the way diplomacy is done. And so right now you have a lot of these rebel groups. You saw it in Afghanistan. Trump pulled back. He negotiated a deal with the Taliban. They ended up overrunning Afghanistan.
No, don't change.
He's also
don't change that. That's on Joe Biden. Don't change that.
No, he negotiated with the Taliban.
The generals screwed that up. They got out. That's on Joe Biden, not President Trump.
You had your time. He negotiated with the Taliban, and Joe Biden eventually pulled out. Just like in Syria, where he's threatening to pull out the U.S. troops.
Joe Biden gave up an airport that we should have kept. We should have kept our military in there.
They're not Trump negotiated with the Taliban. Let's not revise history. Okay.
All right,
and the second thing is he's threatening to pull out of Syria because, again, with Trump, he says we shouldn't be involved with these foreign wars. So he doesn't want us in Ukraine, he doesn't want us in Syria, and he definitely doesn't want us, a land war in Iran. So we'll see what happens. But you're seeing a global shift in how these countries are rising up. You saw it in North South Korea as well. You're seeing there's a lot of turmoil going on.
Thank you, Cousin Todd.
You're on mute, Todd.
Okay, got it. Donald Trump doesn't want to be in any wars. So all this war talk that this war hawk is talking, Trump is the complete opposite of that. He doesn't want to be in war with Iraq, Iran,
right. You're right.
Afghanistan.
You're right.
Okay.
Can I please say I didn't say he was going to war with them. He's going to stop them financially. He's not going to war with them. That's Todd. Don't get this confused. I know he does. He's anti-war. That's why I love him. He's not going to war, but he's going to destroy Iran. Now, please continue. I'll go away.
No, I'm finished.
You're going to destroy Iran without going to war with him. Okay, cool.
Oh gosh, Todd
planet?
is just so. That hat has made Todd really, really moody.
You beating Todd down. He's a broken man. Todd is a broken man.
He sure is. You're right, Aguna.
I don't know where you
So
got that.
let's talk about the preemptive pardons that people on the Hill are concerned about Biden making. Let's start with Aguna. As different possible members of President-elect Trump's cabinet start to visit Congress to speak to them, to actually lobby them for votes, some Democrats are worried, based on an interview that President-elect Trump had, that said that some people in Congress should go to jail. So others are talking about President Biden doing preemptive pardons of those people that Trump thinks should go to jail. Do you agree?
Yeah, preemptive pardon means these people are guilty before they even get proved guilty. That's what that is.
Did she say Stephen?
Oh, I didn't know she said your name. My apologies, Aguna.
No, you just got to get your little propaganda.
No, I did. I swear I did. The camera was on me, so I thought I had a room to talk. I didn't know she called your name. I ain't never jumped on you like I didn't. No, you go, please. Go. I won't jump on you on purpose. Go ahead, man.
Look, so I mean, we've entered a new era of politics. And so there were threats made, there were promises made during the campaign that certain people would go to jail, right, wrong, or indifferent. And at the end of the day, someone at some point said, if you plead the fifth, you're guilty, right? And then he pleaded the fifth. So these preemptive pardons, I mean, whether you think that they're guilty or not, is something that under the protection of the law is constitutional, right, Keith? So at the end of the day, if you're threatening to send people to jail because they had an investigation, right, wrong, or indifferent, I mean, and that was within the law. I mean, we're entering a different time in America where you're trying to, you're going after your enemies, you're going after the opposition.
That's what they did. They went after Trump and all of his people. What are you talking about?
Now, all of his people. Okay, now let me finish. So Trump now has a mandate, right? So what does he do with his mandate? Is he going to go after the people that came after him supposedly, or is he going to move the country forward and unify? This right there,
he could do both.
If you do both, you can't do both. Because if you go after the people that supposedly went after you, you're going to create another wedge, because that's just going to be a talking point for the Democrats in the midterm and eventually in the next presidential election.
They don't want to talk about how corrupt they are. They're going to get caught. They're going to get put in jail.
Let me finish. You're going to set precedents so that you're going to have retaliatory action, because eventually there's going to be another Democrat in the White House.
Good. So and if the Republican does something illegal, go after them. These people did illegal crap to us.
When it comes back around. Don't complain.
It's not coming back around. They did wrong. The Democrat Party did wrong under Biden. We didn't do anything wrong. We're going to punish the ones who did wrong. We're not going after people who are innocent like we are.
Yeah, because
that's where you screwed up. We're not going after innocent people.
We're trying to talk logic.
I like that, Keith.
Okay, go ahead, Keith.
I would say that I just want to say, Todd, you're gonna have to look very happy, man. You gotta get that jolly face on. You know, you look a little sad there. You look a
You
little
gotta look
bit
like one of
depressed.
Santa's little elves. It's
Man,
Christmas.
I tell you, yeah, it's Christmas time, sir. Rejoice in the Lord. Again, I say rejoice. All
Okay,
right,
Cousin Todd, your comment
there you go.
on the preemptive pardons by current President Biden.
I think he's being smart, because when you have somebody that is the president who says we're going after our enemies, now that's completely unpresidential. And
He didn't.
He
who are
never
your
said that.
enemies?
He never said that.
Okay.
Todd, you just don't have an argument, man. Your side did things that
I'm
were
not
wrong
trying
and
to. I'm
unconstitutional.
not going to
Your
try
side
to
needs to
talk
be
over
punished
that.
for doing wrong.
Stacey, you have
The
to
only
either
side is
control your
America.
show,
Your
or I'm
side
just
needs to
The
be
not
only
punished.
saying
side is
anything.
America, Stephen.
You see
No,
this?
it's not. His side is.
And you muted Aguna, not the crazy person. So
She
anyway,
muted me. She muted me.
either you control the show, or I'm not. I'm what I've decided is I'm not going to do this back and forth gong show, Jerry Springer type thing. It's embarrassing, and my friends tell me don't get involved in that. It brings you down. So I'm not doing it. And they say this boy with the hat on is like a crazy person, and his boy toy up top crazy. And so they said, don't get involved in that kind of a thing. It makes you look dumb. So I decided I'm not doing that anymore. So Donald Trump said he was going after his enemies, and he's trying to elect this Kash Patel to do just that. So I think Joe Biden is smart, thinking about pardoning these people. For example, the Republican woman, I can't, her name, Dick Cheney's daughter.
Dickless Cheney
wants to go after her and throw her in jail and get people to shoot her in the face. Remember?
No.
Do you remember, Stacey?
Yeah, he didn't say anything about shooting her in the face. He said she wants everybody to go to war, everybody else's kids, but she don't want her kids or herself. If she was on the battlefield and had guns pointed in her face, how would she like that? That's what he said. He didn't say he wanted anybody to shoot her in her face.
You have to say something to get control of your show. Yay.
No, I don't.
But just stop putting out misinformation and false information.
All I have to do is let you be frustrated and sit back and look like a Russian mole.
Okay, go right
Dictator, something.
And you let this white boy, and this is what my friends are saying, run your show. And it makes
they don't like white boys where you from.
Sorry, that's just the truth.
My friends don't like white boys. They say that white boy, they don't like him because he white. Why does white boy on your show? Y'all don't have no more blacks around there? Okay, why they gotta be white?
Man,
I know, Todd. I know, Todd. Still love you, Todd.
Hilarious. Stephen, control yourself, buddy.
I can't. You know me, Aguna.
And Stacey just laughed, and people are saying, what kind of show is this? You know, we used to be a halfway intelligent show. They said that is gone. And I'm embarrassed. And so I decided I'm not saying anything. I'm not contributing to this kind of stupidity.
Yeah, then just mute him for the rest of the time. We'll just look at his silly outfit.
All right, thank you. I'm going to move on.
Guys. Okay, all right. Well,
I'm going to move on. Let me share my screen with you. Senator Manchin and Senator Welch. Manchin from West Virginia, he's now independent. Senator Welch from Vermont have introduced a resolution to impose an 18-year term limit on, wait for it, Supreme Court justices, which would require some turnover on the High Court every 2 years. This is an article written by Alexander Bolton, dated yesterday at 12:16 p.m., starting with Keith. How is that going to affect law in the land? Term limits on Supreme Court.
They need to just sit down and do their job and stop trying to make everything. They're trying to, the tyranny of the minority. We call it, just leave things as they are. You don't need to change that. The Supreme Court is doing a fine job. And whether it's on the left or on the right, you've got just leave things as they are as far as the Supreme Court goes. I don't think they need to mess with that.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
yeah, simple
Stephen,
as
well,
that.
he's gone.
You're saying the
Aguna.
tyranny, so the tyranny of the minority, you realize that Wyoming has 2 senators, right? And the District of Columbia has none, right? So when you're talking about the tyranny of the minority and who's represented and who's not, there's a lot of there's a lot of ambiguity in what that is based on even the demographic of the country. So that being said, the Supreme Court, unfortunately, is becoming very partisan. And right now, of course, it's
the
conservative, so
Constitution.
no one's complaining. Can I finish, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
So no one's complaining, but it could always shift the other way. And what you don't want, and what we've seen and accepted over the last couple of decades, is that Congress doesn't do their job. There's no reason why the Supreme Court should be doing the job of the legislative branch, right? So they're starting to make weigh in on precedent, whether it's Roe v. Wade or anything else, or Citizens United. They're starting to create laws virtually through the judicial branch, and that's not per the Constitution. The legislative branch has to do their job. So by putting term limits on the judicial branch, you're basically saying they haven't been really doing their job because they had to do the job of Congress, right? And so where do you? I mean, you're basically making the judicial branch Congress if you're putting term limits in there, right? So you're still kind of breaking down government. But at the end of the day, this all starts with Congress, the legislative branch not doing their job. They're not pushing laws, and they're not putting things in place. Again, you talk about liking executive action through the executive branch, but the executive branch shouldn't be doing executive orders.
Thank you.
If the legislative branch is doing its job.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, the left basically hates the way it's stacked right now. It's more conservative, and they want to do term limits because the oldest guy is Thomas, and they want to start from there and maybe have term limits and get him out. So to make it more on the left, advantageous for the left. And if the left had won this election, if they could have stolen this election, but we beat them out, we was too big to rig. So they couldn't do anything. They would have stacked the Supreme Court because that's what they said they were going to do. They would have stacked it with so many liberals that for the rest of the time on earth, it would be stacked with liberals and you couldn't get them out. And they have term limits and get all the old conservatives out and then bring in, it would be one big leftist festus. And that's what we would have. Thank God we have the balance that we have now. We have people on the left that are on the court that should not be on the court, and they need to be looked at and scrutinized really hard. One woman can't even identify what a woman is, and she's mentally ill. She's lost her mind. She needs whatever her name is. What's her name? I don't even know her name. Somebody help me. Aguna, help me with her name. Jackson. She's in.
Cousin Todd.
Okay. I don't quite remember the question, so I'll just say the courts. First, Keith says the courts are horrible whenever they make a decision that he doesn't like, like they were doing when Obama was in office. Anyway, so now he, of course, loves them. But nevertheless, the Supreme Court should have term limits, and I've always said that. I didn't think it was ever smart to have somebody on the Supreme Court for the rest of their lives. It was never smart, but white people built this country, and they wanted it that way, crooked and wrong and rotten, because they wanted to run it that way. And so that's why they came up with this idea that, hey, put somebody on the Supreme Court and leave them there until they die. A racist bigot until they die. So anyway, it should have always been term limits. And now that they're talking about it, I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to move on to China warning the Chinese president.
Look at those two lovebirds. They're weirdos. They're passing love notes.
China is warning the U.S. No winners. China's Xi warns U.S. against a trade war. written today at 9:42 a.m. That is the president of China. He is warning the U.S. prior to the incoming of President-elect Trump. He has warned the United States against restarting a trade war, saying there will be no winners, even as he has vowed to defend the country's economic interests. He made the remarks Tuesday during a meeting with the heads of several global financial institutions, including the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, a day after Chinese regulators announced an antitrust investigation into American chip maker NVIDIA. Cousin Todd, your comments on that?
I agree, because when you start putting tariffs on these people, they're going to retaliate. And like I said, when Stephen and Keith go to their favorite store, Walmart and Target, and they're used to paying $19.99 for things like that hat, they're going to be paying $29.99.
New York City.
And so, Canal
That's right.
Street.
That's right. I bought it in an alley
Canal
off of a
Street.
bum.
Yeah, Canal Street.
He told me it was rabbit.
Shh. Nevertheless, these tariffs are going to be the destruction of America. So we'll see. But they, of course, dumb people like that don't know it until it happens, and then he wonders why the prices are so high.
No, Joe Biden does tariffs. So if you hate tariffs, why does Joe Biden's administration do tariffs? They do a lot of Trump's tariffs right now. So why are you trying to scare people? Ooh, because Joe Biden does tariffs. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. No, Stephen has a good point there, Todd and Aguna. You might want to answer his question about that. Why? I mean, Biden has kept the tariffs in, some of the tariffs in that Trump did. I mean, so some of
the tariffs, right? That's the key, right?
They're
Do you know which ones?
Go ahead, Aguna.
They're still there.
You know which ones?
Doesn't matter. But it
doesn't matter.
Tariffs work is what we're saying.
Not all tariffs are created equal.
But they're not all created equal. Maybe he had some that didn't work, but he knows what works. And then, he did so well that the Biden administration said, we're going to keep his tariffs. You can't
how many farmers
look at what he's saying. If you look at what he's saying, he's talking about increasing tariffs across the board for certain countries. And so it's all well and good as a bargaining chip, but we'll see whether or not who blinks first. And blinking doesn't mean the country is blinking because they're scared of Trump. Blinking means that you're going to have an impact to the U.S. economy if you put tariffs in place, and even if people don't buy, right? So if you put tariffs in place on the wrong commodity, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, because he's talking about putting tariffs in place for Canada and China. And a lot of U.S. companies have offshored to these countries in order to keep prices low.
Well, they'll bring it back.
Excuse me, Aguna, but Canada and Mexico are kissing Trump's ass right now, worried about those tariffs. They're kissing his ass.
Statements. You're making
it's not emotional. It's real. They are bending the knee to Donald Trump right now.
So
Mexico and Canada do not want to mess with Trump.
Explain yourself.
They came to Mar-a-Lago. They came to Mar-a-Lago just like those two people from MSNBC and kissed his rear end. You don't understand what's going on, Aguna. You don't know what's going on.
If you're threatening tariffs, you're basically saying that we're
right. And the country that he's threatening are Canada and Mexico.
Quiet.
They're capitulating now.
Jesus Christ! It's like somebody who reads.
Better call on somebody you know.
Learned about the economy on the back of a bumper sticker is trying to talk reasoning about. No, if it's not on a bumper sticker, Stephen doesn't understand it. Now,
oh really? So you got to put me down because you lost the argument. But you have to put me down because you lost the argument on a bumper sticker. What I said was true.
Don't get emotional.
What I said was true. The president of Mexico and the president of Canada is kissing Donald Trump as you run your mouth.
Stacey, can you please? God.
No, she loves it.
No, she don't cut you off. She doesn't cut you off.
Zombie.
Look at this guy.
Yes.
This guy is like the hillbilly Joe of the show.
Yes.
At the end of the day, tariffs are the risk of trickling down to the American citizens and can impact the economy. All economists say that. Companies say that too. And it's not just this
They'll bring
populist thing
businesses
about, hey,
back.
we're going to put tariffs on the
They'll
No,
table.
they want to
Everybody's
scare
gonna get
people like
scared.
they're trying to win an election.
We are going to have to pay
You
for
already
this
lost the
tariff.
election.
The
Okay,
consumers
stop.
pay
Okay,
for
Guna,
the
you have to
tariffs.
finish. You have to
Why
finish.
are you
Guna. Thank
telling
you.
him to finish and they keep talking over him? You're crazy.
Okay. Todd likes, look at that. Todd likes to attack women. He doesn't attack the other people on the show talking.
No, I mean, it's
Because
like,
he can't beat
But
he
he
can't beat
attacks
a man. He's
women.
got to attack a woman.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, exactly, Stephen.
Right.
Exactly. Gotta
And I
attack
think
a
you
woman.
could beat him, Stacey. I think you could take Todd.
You know you're right. You know you're right.
Christ,
You know
man.
you're right.
I'm glad he's not here.
You know you're
I'm glad he's
right.
not here to see
Stephen.
this.
Hey,
Huh?
Stephen, they'll
I'll
just
take
I
bring
don't
the
want to hurt his
businesses
feelings.
back here.
Huh?
Business will come back to the United States.
It will. Things are going to get a lot better. They're still trying to scare
how we
people
do.
like we have an election.
Why
The
haven't they
election's
been?
over. You don't have
Why
to scare
haven't they
anybody
been?
anymore. The
Why
election's
haven't
over. We
businesses
already
come
won.
back?
Just
Why
why?
haven't businesses come back?
They are coming
haven't-
back.
Thank you.
Because he's not president yet.
That doesn't make sense. You know how long it's going to take for what does a business come back mean? They're going to move a plant from China back to the United States, build that plant within a year, and actually start making money in time for them to be profitable. And you think
Arjuna, I don't know what's coming back, but I know that this administration is more for the people. And then let's just see if they help the people that put them there.
Once you start talking the details, your argument falls apart.
It doesn't fall apart.
We're outsourced.
No, it doesn't. If we can cut out $2 trillion in fat in our government, then we have money for the people.
Manufactured overseas is
if we can cut out $2 trillion of fat from our government
overseas.
The entire world faced a spike in inflation.
In the U.S., you got to deal with unions and things like that.
And Putin's war in Ukraine. We acted quickly to get inflation down with the help of Republicans and Democrats.
We have to listen to the
inflation
idiot.
Came down to pre-pandemic levels. Wages have increased, but still too many working and middle-class families struggle with high prices for housing and groceries and the daily needs of life. At the same time as inflation and interest rates continue to fall, we enter a new phase of our economic resurgence. With the outcome of this election, we also face an inflection point. We do we continue to grow the economy from the middle out and the bottom up, investing in all of America and Americans, supporting unions?
Okay, so that was President Biden today touting what he believes his administration did for the U.S. economy. We'll talk about that. It'll be our roundtable. We're out of time. We'll start with Keith, then Stephen, Aguna, and Cousin Todd. Keith, the president's speech on his economic successes while he was president.
Well, it doesn't make much sense because if businesses or manufacturing is not here in the United States, and we're depending more on China, Mexico, Canada, other countries importing in, and I figure that's the case because here we're talking about tariffs, and Trump is talking about tariffs for for other countries, imports, goods that are being imported. That means we're not producing the goods here to export. So I think that the solution is to export or to export goods from here. We should be more of a manufacturing and productive country the way we used to be. The way we used to be in the past. So I think with Trump's regime, we're going to do that. We're going to produce it here. We're going to make it here and be able to become the top producers of the world, especially with drill baby drill. Yes, drill baby drill.
Drill baby.
Wait, Keith. Excuse me, Keith. Was there anything else you wanted to say that was about something else? You have like 5 seconds.
Oh, 5 seconds.
You want to talk about.
Well, yeah, I'll just basically that's it. In answer to your question there, I mean the topics that we have, I can wait till next year because we're going to be going. Well, we're going to be prospering and doing well under Trump. He's putting everybody in place that needs to be in place, and he's doing a good job of it. Not even inaugurated yet, and here we are already. People are changing their behavior. So China's getting upset. China's scared. Mexico's scared. Canada's scared because they know Trump is going to do what's right, and God is with him, and that's the main thing.
Okay, thank you,
Lord's with him.
Stephen.
Stacey, what was the question?
It was on President Biden's
nothing.
speech.
The question was, how much?
I know, yeah.
Did you take a shower today? That's the question.
No, the water's bad for you. You shouldn't take showers.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah. I want to say this is our last show until next year. And I had to do the show tonight. And I talked to Keith earlier and said, yeah, I'll come and do the show, but I'm a little bit. Huh?
We know you talked to him earlier, like every 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, we talk all the time. Like pull a talk late at night. Yeah.
I know, ma'am. We all know.
So I just wanted to say I appreciate y'all all of these years. It's like a dozen years, and love every one of y'all so much. I had to do the show tonight. I was a little bit downhearted, but I knew this show would pull me through and make me better because I get so much out of this. And I try to do the right thing, and I try to tell the truth, and everything I try to do is good for people in the show. And I mean, just in general, just like I won't lie to you. I won't say anything. It's a lie, and I know we fight a lot, but it's a lot of times I'm just trying. I have fun with it, you know. I don't hate anybody.
Why
I love
were you
everybody.
A little down?
But
Why were you a little down today?
My sister passed yesterday about lunchtime, and I couldn't be there. I know, because I didn't. It got a call too late, but I didn't want to be alone. But I told her over and over. I said, even when I'm not there, I'm with you. Even when I'm not here, I'm with you. Okay. So she knew, and she knew she was loved, and it was really, really sad. And it's so much love came out of her, and it was just beautiful. And she's such a sweet, innocent person. I know she's in heaven, so I'm okay with it. But I've been going through like old pictures with, with my twin sister when we were little, and everything. But I had to do the show tonight. I appreciate y'all so much, and y'all helped me a lot. Different. It's been a little kind of a difficult year, but y'all have helped me a whole lot, and I appreciate all of y'all, each and every one of y'all.
Stephen. My thoughts and prayers are with you.
No,
I'm so sorry, and
appreciate
feel horrible for all the things he said.
Nobody here gets out alive. We all got to face it one day, but I'm really sad. I'm really gonna miss her really bad, and miss my other people that died. But it's great to know that life goes on. We're good. We're out here fighting a good fight. That's all we can do. And I told her, I said, she's in heaven fighting a good fight. I told her a few days ago, you're gonna be in heaven fighting a good fight, and I'll fight here. We're good. We'll be okay.
I'm so sorry, Stephen.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate y'all very much.
Thank you for coming on through your pain, for losing your twin sister yesterday. Our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers go out to you. I'm so sorry. That's hard to follow, Jenna.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. I know we get on this show and we have some very strong opinions and strong emotions, but we've been doing this for a long time, and we've seen each other at some of our highest highs and some of our lowest lows. We lost loved ones along the way. We fought each other through it, and we lift each other up. And sometimes, we do fight and argue, but that's what, we're a family, right? So sometimes we disagree, but I know I kid around with you, Stephen, of being a passive aggressive white supremacist, and being for some reason and all this other stuff. But I mean, you're pure in your intentions and your heart, and you love everybody. And even though we don't agree, I appreciate you as a human being, as a brother on the show. And I think, like Stacey says, we're here to support you, and we're here to lift you up. And we suffer through it with you. And I wouldn't wish losing a sibling on my worst enemy. I haven't felt that, but I have lost parents. We all experienced loss. And one of the things that will get you through this, because you're not going to get over it, you're going to get through it, though. Yeah. And it is because it's you and your sister had a relationship. You had some good times. You had some good memories. You've lifted each other up, and you support each other like we do on the show. So just know that she's in a better place now, and you're going to see her again. And this goes back to something Keith said a long time, and as all of us believe in a higher power and believe in God and have some Christian beliefs, we know that by living righteously and by living the good life, we're going to see our loved ones again eventually, right? Because we will be, rewarded in paradise based on the intentions and the life that we lived in this world. So just know that we're with you in your prayers, and we appreciate you, even in some of even when you said that Aunt Jemima was your person of choice during Black History Month. To this woman here, it's like, that we're here, and this is why we have this show, and this is why we're here for each other. So we definitely
right on. Appreciate it.
We're here for you, and definitely have our prayers as you cope with this moment. And
thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. And your mama's coming back.
And Stephen wouldn't respect me as a friend and to be a white supremacist. How could he respect me as a friend and be a white supremacist?
Because you're a white supremacist. Because you're a white supremacist too. They called you a white supremacist.
Trying to get into white man's heaven, Keith.
Yeah, you're a white supremacist. You don't even know it. It doesn't mean the color of your skin.
Cousin Todd.
Yeah, we just.
I didn't hear the question that Keith asked. I think he said, "Why would I?" What did he say?
I said, "Why would Stephen be considered a white supremacist if we are friends?" I mean, am I white?
Oh, no, you're not white. You're just great and bad. He. You know what? Just forget I said anything.
Yeah, how do you know he's great in bed?
Because I read your.
How do y'all take a special moment?
I don't know. But I wonder. And another thing, my sister listened to this show. She was on the couch over there. She would listen to the show and she loved the show. And she's like, sometimes she's like, "Oh, they're hard on you tonight." She said, but it was funny, and she'll be over there laughing while the show was going on, and she really loved it. And when she eventually had to go to a facility. And she was telling me all the time when I would visit her, she said, "I really miss hearing this show. I really miss the show."
All Todd thinks about is sex, though. Sex.
Well, I probably made
because he don't get none.
Talking about you and your boy toy.
Ooh, Aguna, you hear this, Aguna?
All right, we're out of time. On that note, we're out of time. To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you to our women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do and sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on the show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the voice of reason.
You guys need to get it together.
Stephen,
Kid show.
The independent thinker. Keith, the constitutional conservative, and my cousin Todd. I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going. Wait a minute. Can I say it? Let's keep this conversation
your
going.
face, Stacey, looks like you had cheek implants. Your cheekbones are super high.
Let's keep this conversation going on Twitch. Yeah, Twitch, X,
Put
Instagram.
the camera on yourself.
Okay. Let me start again. Twitch, Instagram, X. Like and subscribe to Sporlitiks on YouTube. Please check us out on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. And what else did I forget?
We won't be on
TikTok. Check us out at Sporlitiks.com. The whole word, Sporlitiks.com on TikTok and on Instagram.
Not to be confused with any other show that took our name and left out the R.
Do tell, Todd.
I do have a lawyer, Stacey. Just give me a call.
Okay, thank you. This is our last show for the year, our last live show for the year. I have surgery next week, and then after that, it's Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, you're going to have more plastic surgery on your face?
Yes, but I'm not having a sex change. I'm already in the I will not have a sex change, Cousin Todd.
Y'all calling each other out. Y'all calling each other out now.
They're going to miss each other.
And they're family. That's family right there calling each other out.
No, the thing
is, family, as you would say.
We
Stephen.
called you out, Stephen, because I had asked you once you had your surgery, how were you doing after your reassignment surgery? And you said, "Oh, I'm doing pretty good," because you didn't know what reassignment surgery was.
I was saying I was doing good after my reassignment surgery. And that's the wrong. You shouldn't even call it a reassignment surgery. You should call it a mutilation. There's no reassignment surgery. There's no correcting somebody's sex or whatever. That's weird stuff, man. We're in a weird place where we think that's normal.
You would know.
We think that's weird, man.
The pivots on the show are amazing.
excuse me. So you can see previous episodes of Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle since 2011. You can catch previous episodes on YouTube at sporlitiks.com. And we will see you next year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
We love the show.
Merry
We love you
Christmas.
tonight.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
Happy
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. Happy
Yeah.
Kwanzaa.
Happy
Happy
Kwanzaa.
New Year.
Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
Am I gotta get
That
through
should be
this?
a song.
Yeah.
That was good, man. That's a good show.
Stacy, you already
it
look
was
beautiful.
good.
You don't need to overdo it, Stacy.
Yes, I
He's
get-
really getting
He looks good. No BBL, Stacy. No BBLs.
You really get.
Hey, why didn't we talk about the guy that shot the dude in the back, Stacy? I didn't even.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
The guy that shot the guy that shot the CEO, and then we have Americans in this country like, oh hell yeah, somebody got killed. What? Like, that could have been a good topic on the show, you know? How do people celebrate somebody
It wasn't
getting
about
killed?
sports or politics. That was crime. It wasn't sports or politics. That's why.
But we talk
I
about
didn't
crime
include
all
it
the
as a
time.
major
Yeah.
event.
Or what about the case where the guy got off for choking the dude?
Yeah.
We talk about crime all the time.
No, that was because the
Go
president
ahead and talk about it.
talked about it.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I'll
What
tell
do you
you
wanna
about
say
it.
Even in New York City, that he got off. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny.
Daniel Penny,
couldn't
right?
bring-
Why don't we talk about those
Yeah,
cases?
they couldn't
That's
because the
huge.
guy, justice. God, the Lord brings justice. I keep
Keith,
telling you guys.
Keith,
My
I've been
God.
in that man's position and saved people like that. Thank God nobody died, but I have saved people because there's people that run into the fire and the people that run away. That's just how
Yeah.
you are. I can't help it. I don't think about you. I just go. And that's how
That
some
happened to
people
me,
are, and that's
too.
how he was. This
That
guy was
happened to
trying to
me.
kill people on the subway or
Was
talking
not.
about killing. He wanted to kill
Trying to
everybody.
kill people.
He was
No, he
not.
Wasn't trying to
threatened to
kill
kill
people.
people.
Oh, shut up.
He threatened to
Stephen.
kill
You're
people.
making
So
this
there was
up.
another dude that
What
was
proof
grabbing
do you
his
have?
arms to stop him. The dude was nuts, man. And you know
Okay.
what? That
What
guy, he
proof
didn't
do
kill
you
him. He was
have,
still
Stephen?
alive when he let go. Did
What
you know
proof
that?
do you have? You know,
Yes.
Stephen just makes this stuff up. And
Yeah.
He
can't
was
You're right,
still
Stephen.
alive when they let him go.
Yeah.
He was. Y'all don't know that because
Yeah.
you don't hear that on The View.
You just said he was trying to kill everybody on the train. He was trying to kill. And then they
Yeah,
said,
he punched a woman years ago in the eye and the nose, broke her
Years
orbit of her eye and
ago.
broke her nose.
Years
He's
ago.
got a long record of
Years-
being violent towards people.
That was one
And now his
time.
daddy wants some, and now his daddy wants money. That's all he
Yeah.
wants. His daddy won't even in his life. Surprise!
Yeah.
And now he wants the boy's money. He wants
Yeah.
to sue now. That's what he wants to do. He said,
What?
I'll let you live with me now if you give me some of that Michael Jackson money, but he wouldn't give him any. And now he's like, I'm gonna get something out of this kid. He came out of me. I'm entitled to some dollars.
You're crazy.
And Daniel Penny.
No,
has
he's
no
suing
money
him. He's
right
suing
now.
him civilly.
All you want
Do
is
you think
money.
he was wrong? Do you think he was wrong for
Okay, I'm
intervening
going.
and holding that cat down?
Bye.
He does. Yeah,
Happy
he
New
does.
Year. Merry
He does, Stephen.
Christmas.
I know
So-
if this was 2020, they'd be
There's-
rioting by
there's-
now.
Hey, Stephen, the guy was black. So, yes, according
Right,
to
and the
God,
guy who had him was white,
yeah.
and Taylor Swift is white. Why
Yeah.
does everything have to be so blank, easy like that? Life is a lot more complicated than color, Todd.
You guys brought it up. You guys
No, I'm
brought
saying
it
it's always color. Because the guy's white, he
Oh,
should be.
you know
We should
what?
riot. If he's white,
have-
he's not right. I don't care
I
what
have-
he did.
I have a
We
message.
should all
Has
riot
anybody
now.
rioted?
I have
Has
a
anybody
message
rioted?
for-
They've been talking about rioting, and a guy from the Black Panther
Is a
said,
protest a
"We need to
riot?
do some lynching or something. We need to do something." He was up there running his mouth,
Why are you trying
and
to
his
take the
father
most
was like,
extreme case?
"Oh, what's going on here?" No, man. No, what it is what
there
it
may be
is,
a case, though.
what it is people,
Again, let the justice take its course. But see, this is the same
and it
justice
did,
system
and he got
that-
off. He got off. Justice took its course.
So that same judicial, but they prosecuted Trump, and that was wrong, though.
They prosecute the same guy. What's his name? Alan
I'm talking
Adam.
about
What's
the
his name up there in
justice
New York?
I'm talking
Keith,
about-
what's the man's name?
It's okay in this case, but not
Adams.
okay
The
in
guy
this case.
Adams up in New York is the same guy that did this case, the same guy that went unjustifiably against Trump. He made
Oh,
all
you
that
mean
crap
Bragg.
up against Trump.
You mean Bragg?
This guy,
You're talking about-
Adam Bragg, yeah, Adam, he needs to go to jail.
It just
He needs to go to
It
jail.
just appears that it's only justice if you guys agree with it.
No,
That's
I'm
just
saying that everything that was been on charges on Trump were trumped up in BS, and all the cases are falling apart. They took a misdemeanor. Wait a minute. They had a misdemeanor on Trump that expired, and they turned it into 34 felonies. Aguna, it's fake. Aguna, what you believe is not true.
That's because you don't. That's because you don't agree with it, man.
I'm not saying I don't agree with it. What I'm saying is facts. I'm saying facts, Aguna. I'm not saying my opinion. I'm not saying my opinion. It's facts. You know that these people are trying to hurt Donald Trump, or trying to hurt this white dude. That's all they're trying to do. This is what needs to change in this country. Justice needs to be blind. Justice needs to be blind again. We want equality for everybody. You want certain people to be punished.
It's only justice if you agree with it, though.
No, it's not. You know that this case where the guy had him in a chokehold, you know that never should have went to court, right?
It should have went to court, and then it should have taken its course.
And then they couldn't get him on the first conviction. Then they made up another one and tried to get him on that. It's all BS. And the jury they saw right through it.
So whether you think it's BS or not, somebody lost their life.
It's not me, it's the facts.
It had to be investigated.
You don't think there's corruption in New York, in the system in New York?
He had drugs.
So here's the thing. I don't think he.
Yeah, he's no different than the dude that started the 2020 riots. He's no different.
Kill him, but
he's George Floyd. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do another George Floyd, and Floyd died of a drug overdose too.
If you want to be reasonable and look at the
there
facts,
there was no trauma to that man's neck. He didn't hit him hard enough to hurt him. He was holding him gently. He didn't kill him.
What's called involuntary manslaughter.
He didn't kill him.
Like that.
He was alive when he let him go. He was alive when the paramedics got there. Look it up. He was alive. He didn't kill him.
On the track to die.
The drugs killed him.
In the hospital.
The drugs killed him. Just like George Floyd died of fentanyl. George Floyd couldn't breathe because of fentanyl, and those cops need to be let out of jail. Shove on.
Whatever.
Everything they did was wrong. Since 2020, every case was wrong. And they got to go back and correct it.
That was a catalyst to send him down this trial, this path of death. So it got investigated. It was put on trial, and it took its course. That's why you should be happy.
It took
about
a year. Stacey, I hope everything goes well with your surgery, Stacey.
I'm gonna go. Good night.
I know you're not gonna be able to text, Stacey.
I gotta go too.
Good night.
Homework to do.
Y'all take care. Peace and love, y'all. Have a great night.
You too.
Stacey, I'm sorry, but you may let me know how it goes and everything.